1942, he stepped forth like some warrior of old to lead and inspire vast forces of men. No American leader was more colorful and more successful. General George S. Patton, Jr., dedicated to glory and the victory that was won. The name, the symbol, the victories, our history.
The museum's mission is to teach and inspire people about the art of leadership. We are not a history museum per se. We are a museum that uses history merely as a vehicle. That's just the means. What we are hoping to accomplish is to educate people on the Army's leadership model. What is leadership, and how can I internalize that? How can I use that? We do that through several modes, through teaching history lessons from the past, how have leaders done things that new generations of leaders can internalize, but we incorporate technologies into it as well. Patton Museum is located at Fort Knox, down 31W. We have a gate right off the highway there. We're open from Tuesday through Friday from the hours of 10 o'clock in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon, and on Saturdays from 10 to 5:30. The Patton Museum has changed. It's much different than what a lot of our older visitors remember it to be. In 2005, the Base Realignment and Closure Commission did some realignment of Army posts, and this museum used to be operated by the Armor School. The Armor School moved to Fort Benning and took a lot of their armored pieces with them. Written into the law was a rule that said that the General Patton collection was going to stay. We are now administratively controlled by the Reserve Officer Training Corps, ROTC, Cadet Command here at Fort Knox. So we've had to really retool what our mission was. The museum was established in 1946, and one of the curious things about this institution is that General Patton himself was collecting things for this museum while he was still alive. Patton chose Fort Knox for the basic reason that this is where the home of armor was. He's one of that arm's heroes. He was technically the first American soldier to be in the Armored Corps in World War I. So for his collection to come here to the home of armor, it made perfect sense at the time. We have the largest collection of Patton artifacts, around 2,000 artifacts directly tied to Patton. Everything from his baby socks and baby shoes to the Cadillac that he was mortally injured in. So Patton's our namesake, and that's obviously the big draw for us. But we have other things. One of the great pieces that we have here, it's one of our largest pieces, is a fire truck that was in the 9/11 attacks on the Pentagon. So this is a civilian artifact, but it helps us take something that was incredibly tragic for our country and show how some civilians came to the rescue of the military on that day. And they showed exemplary leadership in doing so. As you go through the exhibits, there are certain places along the path where you can have an enhanced experience. So normally you have an artifact that sits in a vitrine, and the curator will write something about it, and you're asked as a visitor to attach meaning to those things based on just a very small piece of information that I provide and your own understanding of it. Well, with augmented reality, we can bring it to life. The Augmented Reality app is an application for iPhone or Droid, and you download it for free here at the museum. You can download it before you even get here. Now, how it works is you come to the locations and you can either scan a QR code or your camera on your device will recognize an artifact itself. And overlaid on top of it is digital imagery, video footage. The idea is for you to be able to see the artifact still, but with the use of this device, it's brought to life. There was a series of barracks here at Fort Knox. At the height of World War II, the Army was training tankers, and they had to give a roof over the head for all these people. So there was actually hundreds of these buildings. After the 2005 BRAC legislation, all those barracks were on the docket to be destroyed. So one of our board members talked to the commanding general at the time and convinced him that we needed to rescue one of these and move it to the museum because it had such a great story that crosses generations. People actually will come here and they'll see these things. Like, I remember that. I was there. I saw that. You know, I saw that car driving with Patton in it before, or that Jeep. I saw Patton wearing this thing. So that's one of the great treats of working here. Before, the museum was a great place for tank enthusiasts. The museum now is far more sophisticated. It's got a different message. But it all boils down to that fundamental mission of teaching and inspiring good leadership.